Jeno, my people, my homies, you guys already know a lot about this, what I'm going to talk about today. You guys already know how important this is to me and how important it is to our generation. But I want to hammer this point home because I've had a couple of conversations recently, and I think people are missing the point. People are forgetting what this is really all about. People are forgetting the bigger picture. We're getting so caught up in the mundane little moments throughout our day, the little frustrations, the pipes, the small things that we're working on a daily basis, that we're forgetting why we're really here and why this is revolutionary and why this is a business unlike any other on this planet. And I truly believe that in my bones. So I want to talk to you about the heartbeat of our generation. I want to talk to you about what makes us so excited and so angry we could cry. I want to talk about what gets us up in the morning and keeps us mobilized and engaged and excited and passionate. And I believe, and I can't speak for everyone, I can only speak for the people I roll with, but I believe for us, for our generation, for Gen O, that's impact, right? We care so much about the planet. We care so much about people. We care so much about equity. We care so much about social justice. We care so much about the environment. And it's real for us. We're the first to grab an item off the shelf and immediately flip it over and scan the ingredients list to see if there's toxic chemicals or if the packaging is recyclable, right? We're the first to use an app like the EWG Think Dirty app to really investigate the ingredients in our products so that we can be conscious consumers and be empowered and self-responsible for what we're putting in and on our bodies and what kinds of companies, what kind of ethos we're supporting, what kind of world we're voting for with our dollars. We really care. We're the first to check the environmental sustainability index of the companies that we support. We're the first to go onto their website and look for their supply chain and see how transparent they're being about what they're selling. We're the first to look to see if there's a TOMS model or some sort of CSR, corporate social responsibility, some sort of give back model, some sort of social entrepreneurship. We're the first generation to be looking for that and being serious about it and being educated about it and knowing what to look for, knowing when it's greenwashing, knowing what the red flags are, and knowing that we can and should be intolerant of the status quo, which we call status no, because we know that companies can be doing better. We know that there is a better way, there's a new way, and we're not going to put up with it if it's BS. And we have BS detectors, by the way, that are so fine-tuned, right? We really care. We want our purchases to have an impact beyond just us. And this isn't just marketing. This isn't just syntax. This isn't just a nice thought. We truly know our power. We want to invest in companies that stand for what we believe in, that are in alignment with what the world that we want to see. We want to invest in female and minority founded brands, that we want to invest in brands that support the sustainable development goals. We want to know that our daily choices are part of something bigger than ourselves. This is, and I say this all the time, this is the lifeblood of our generation. And we crave community. We crave people that are like-minded and like-hearted. And we're so tapped in and socially connected. We're overwhelmed with connectivity, but I think that this is making us even more lonely. And we're craving those people that believe what we believe. I get messages about this all the time on social media about how to find your people, how to find the people that vibe with you, that align with you, that believe in the things you believe in, that want to fight alongside you for the things that you care about and for justice and be on the front lines of that rally, right? Despite how crowded our world is, I think we really are lacking that real, raw, hearty, authentic connection, which is why doTERRA is so important to me and why Gen O is so important to me and why this was such an important thing for me this entity to create and to create this space for connection and for us to get together and really create a community that's real with people that get it, right? And bring people in and show people that there is a new way to earn and to give, and that this way works, and that there are hundreds of other people doing it alongside you. That is a powerful feeling, to be a part of something. It's a powerful feeling. It's addicting. And so that's what Gen O means to me. And I just want to talk about why we lead with sourcing, right? And a lot of people in doTERRA, don't get me wrong, there's no right or wrong way to do this. And that's one of the beautiful things about doTERRA. There is no right or wrong way to do this. But a lot of people lead with the product. And that's powerful. A lot of people lead with a personal testimony. A lot of people lead with the fact that, they had a life-altering experience. Powerful. I lead with that too in a lot of ways. But you know what else I lead with? I lead with the sourcing. I lead with the impact. I lead with the community. When I go live, when I share a class, the first thing I do when I'm doing one of my elite retreats, well, first of all, the first thing we do is we have a rowdy dance party covered in biodegradable glitter. But then the very next thing we do is we set the tone and we remind people why we're here, what it's really all about. Now, we shared the Nepal sourcing video in most of our classes because that's really close to home for one of my frontline silver leaders. Her family member was in Nepal during the earthquake. And so watching doTERRA's efforts to rebuild and provide earthquake-proof schools and source wintergreen and create economic opportunity in this rubble is so powerful. But when we start our class with saying, hey, this is going to change your life. This is going to empower you. This is going to empower your family. And this business model, bar none, ready for abundance, ready to create something with your life. Yes, freak yes, let's do that. 100%. But before we get into that, we need to really ground down and remind ourselves why we're here and why this company is so disruptive and unusual and beyond anything else that we've seen and beyond any other opportunity that could fall into your lap. Let's not forget the bigger picture. I always say that doTERRA is basically a catalyst for a positive ripple effect all the way along the supply chain, from the farmer who's planting the seeds and getting economic opportunity for their family and creating abundance in their own way and breaking generational cycles of poverty and, having opportunities to build a school or build a hospital, right? These are things that were not accessible. So all the way along the supply chain, from the farmer to the family, is holding those bottles of essential oils in their hands and having their world rocked, right? And I think that it's so important to think about that whole life cycle, the whole chain, from the farmer to the family, because a lot of times we just think about myopically looking at the shelf and saying, this is the item, it's going into my home, this is how I'm going to use it. But we do not often think, where did that come from? How did it get here? How did it end up on the shelf of the Whole Foods in Brooklyn that I went to, right? What's the journey of this product? How many hundreds of hands touched this product before mine did? And how were they treated? Were they treated with respect and dignity? Were they paid fairly? Was this product a massive environmental burden on its journey? Did it emit greenhouse gases? Right? What's the embodied carbon of this product? So we want to know the true cost of our purchases. And I think that doTERRA, with its transparency as a company, its transparency about purity, its transparency about its supply chains, right? We can go onto YouTube and literally meet the farmer that grew the plant, that made the oil, that is helping you on a daily basis. You can see that person. And that is the kind of radical transparency that puts other companies into a downward spiral and a complete panic, because they don't want source2.com to exist, because that kind of radical transparency makes the big dogs shake in their boots. I forgot who said that. A leader in doTERRA said that, and I loved it, because it is true. Because most companies cannot give that level of transparency, because it's difficult to do. It takes a lot of resources, a lot of effort, and a lot of commitment to be that transparent. But second of all, a lot of companies don't want you to know what's going on behind the scenes. They would be mortified if you could draw back the curtain and really see what's going on. So the fact that doTERRA can be so transparent is showing you that they are not cutting corners. They're not taking the economic highway and probably losing some revenue because of the commitment to doing it right. And I think this is conscious consumerism on steroids. And this is why I'm a diamond in doTERRA. 100%, guys. If this was just selling makeup and there was no consciousness, there was no impact embedded into the fibers of the company, there was no integral social justice and global benefit, I would have been so long gone. I would have been so bored. I've always been passionate about social entrepreneurship, and this is an ability to be an entrepreneur. I talk about this in my build videos, right? This is entrepreneurship light. This is the ability to act and have the lifestyle and the creativity and the freedom of an entrepreneur without all the risk. It's risk-free entrepreneurship, and it's entrepreneurship with a purpose. It is social entrepreneurship. So I actually have people join my team simply for the Healing Hands Foundation opportunity, the ability to get a grant up to $15,000 for something that sets your soul on fire, whatever beats your heart, whether that's earthquake-proof schools in Nepal or protecting garment factory workers in Bangladesh. right? I had girls look at me and say, my family runs a nonprofit in Peru. This kind of money would change everything. Or I'm working on a project one of my leaders working on a project in South Africa to help with legal fees for Black farmers to reclaim land post-apartheid so that they could break cycles of poverty and have an economic opportunity. And this would change everything. Or my best friend who's working on a project in Vietnam to rescue and rehabilitate children from trafficking. This would change everything. So if you're not doing a Healing Hands project on your team, or you don't know what that is, you are missing a huge part of what doTERRA is all about and why I'm so obsessed, right? This is integral. This is the bigger picture, right? This is completely separate from the product. This is even completely separate from the business model, completely separate from sourcing. This is just an opportunity to do good in the world and be rewarded for doing good, right? This is just a massive opportunity that we're all sitting on, and many of us are ignoring. I just had a call with someone in Geno the other day, and she just texted me that her Healing Hands project has just been submitted, right? She was like, you know what? Having this conversation, this makes me think I need to get my butt off the couch and actually put in this submission. Why not? Everybody has something they care about. Even if it's not your organization, it doesn't have to be. As long as it's a 501c3 registered nonprofit, you can email the leadership of that organization and say, hey, I really care about animal cruelty and rescuing animals, or I really care about climate change and making sure that indigenous land is protected, or I really care about the Rainforest Alliance. And you can literally use doTERRA as a vehicle to help you double your impact. If you're raising money for this organization, they will match your money. That is just like, it's no questions asked. And it shocks me that people don't do this more often. Shocks me, right? It's just like, this is amazing. Like, why are we, I have like 5 projects running simultaneously at any given time on my team. I sponsor like a project a month. It's amazing. And it's so unique, right? There's not many companies do not operate like this. There will not be enough vetiver in Haiti to calm you down once you realize what an opportunity, what a gold mine you're sitting on to make an impact in the world. So, I mean, this is the message I have when I talk to people about oils. People always say like, oh, how do you share? How do you attract builders? How do you teach your classes? This is how I teach my classes, right? When I put a drop of oil in someone's hand, I tell them there's 3 stories to that oil. There's the physical story, how it's going to affect the physical body. There's the emotional story about aromatherapy and how powerful oils can be to support mental health and emotional state. And then there's the impact story. There's the life of the person who's now benefiting from the fact that you purchased this product. There is someone around the world, there is a female farmer who's able to put food on the table for their kids, who's able to afford an education for those kids because of our purchasing decisions, right? We talk about these farmers, we show the videos. When I put geranium in someone's hands, I show the video. When I put frankincense in someone's hands, I show that video, right? We're all in tears, we're all covered in oils and covered in tears, and it's a beautiful mess, and I love it, right? And sometimes I think with doTERRA, like, because ethical operation is just like part of the community and part of all of the communications that we get, it's all about this. And we're inundated with impact and we're inundated with conscious business. I think we think it's a given, but I want to remind you guys that most companies do not operate like this. Most companies squeeze the middleman for all they're worth, and they do not pay them fair wages. Most companies do not empower, they disenfranchise. Most companies are not equitable. They're only caring about the bottom line. So don't let this be a footnote about doTERRA. Oh, by the way, they also have a really cool sourcing model. Want to hear about it? Oh, by the way, they also have this really cool thing where you can submit a project and they'll give you a bunch of money to donate to it. Oh yeah, there's this really cool thing about how they empower farmers and they're sustainable and they look about the future and they invest in sandalwood trees for hundreds of generations from now. Before they won't even see any profit from it. It's going to take hundreds of years before these trees come to maturity and produce oils, but they're thinking about the future. They're thinking about sustainability. They're thinking about a long-term gain. Don't let this be a footnote, because for our generation, I really believe this is the headline. Want to partner with a company with soul? Want to generate abundance through a vehicle that's making a massive positive ripple effect throughout the entire world? Yeah, come along. That's what I'm up to. And I don't know why you would want to do anything else. So I really loved a couple conventions ago, they talked about the UN Sustainable Development Goals and how doTERRA through their operations, through their supply chain, through their business model, are directly addressing 6 out of the 11 UN Sustainable Development Goals. So this is something, these goals are ubiquitous. This is something I talk about in my classes in my public health degree at Harvard, right? And like the ability to say that what I do on a daily basis, no matter how small, maybe I talk to one person, maybe I post one Instagram post, that feels insignificant. But when you put it in the context of what this company is doing as a machine throughout the world, I get to say that on a daily basis, the things that I'm contributing towards and where I'm putting my energy is directly making an impact on the world to improve the standard of living for the 99% of people who don't have the luxury to scroll Instagram and get an education and sip on clean drinking water and fair trade vegan lattes, right? And I think this is really important for us as we're thinking about our futures and we're thinking about generating abundance for ourselves and for our goals and our, we have our vision boards. It's really important to remember that we can do good and we can do well for ourselves by doing good. And that it doesn't have to be a trade-off. It can be a win-win. You can make an insane life for yourself. You can create audacious abundance and be super generous with your time and with your money and have freedom that you could have only ever dreamed of, but also do so in a way that is empowering hundreds of thousands of other people along the way. And I think people forget that, and people think money is a dirty word, and people think that becoming an entrepreneur and making a bunch of money comes at a cost. But I think that the doTERRA model, if anything, is showing us that you can have both. You can be abundant in your finances, in your health, in your community, but you can also be abundant in your impact. And I think that is, for me, that's the headline. That's why we're here. That is what we're all about. And that's the point. So I just want to hammer that in and remind you of this important mission that we're on and the important dictate that we have to create community of like-hearted, like-minded people that see what we see, that see this vision, that want to band together and make this impact. And it's beautiful. And I think, again, back to the point about community, I think our generation has a lot going for it, right? We have globalization. We have I forget what the stat was, but it's something like the amount of data that we have access to in 1 minute is the amount of data that we would have had access to, or that would have been generated in an entire year 10 years ago. So the amount of exponential growth and access that we have is bar none. We have so much opportunity. We are multi-passionate. We're crafty. We're traveling. We have the ability to build an empire on an iPhone, right? Like we can build a 7-figure business on an iPhone. And that's something that no generation has ever had before. But I think at the same time, we need to relearn how to connect. We need to relearn how to build community. And that's what we're up to. That's what we're doing. That's what you're doing. And that's why you're here. That's why you're watching this. And so I just want to make sure that this isn't a side note, right? Yes, the oils are going to freaking rock your world. Yes, this income is freaking crazy, right? You're going to have the ability to partner with this vehicle to then generate abundance by doing good, right? And for a lot of us, doTERRA isn't the end game. I think a lot of network marketers in like previous generations think like, oh, I'm going to become a network marketing star and I'm going to make a bunch of money through network marketing. That's going to be my thing. And I think for us, we're really creative and we're multi-passionate and we're not like, I don't think I want to just be a network marketer. What if I want to self-publish a book? What if I want to start an NGO? What if I want to start an app? What if I want to self-fund my next big project? What if I want to build a home out of regenerated, recycled bamboo in Costa Rica and start a yoga community and a healing spa? And that's my big vision. Oh, awesome. I can create a huge freaking residual income with doTERRA and then use it to do whatever it is that sets my soul on fire. This doesn't have to be the end. This doesn't have to be the full stop. And if it gives you anxiety to think, oh my gosh, I'm jumping into doTERRA and this is going to be my thing forever. Think of it as a vehicle. Think of it as a partner to generate the abundance that you need to do what your purpose on this earth is, to go wherever your soul's calling you to go, do whatever you're lit up about, right? You can follow that curiosity, and this just gives you the freedom to be able to do so. So your homework from this video, which was my very long soapbox about how freaking important all of this is, watch at least 3 sourcing videos in the next day. Sit down and let yourself cry. Let it sink in how important this is. Let yourself realize how big this opportunity is, how big this system is, how disruptive this business is, how we can fix and disrupt those broken systems that are inherently unjust, how we can fix and disrupt the broken consumer culture. We can disrupt and fix broken supply chains, broken communities, broken healthcare system, broken families, right? There are so many avenues to think about when you're thinking about doTERRA. Are you in debt? Is that breaking apart your family? Are you, is financial security something that would change your life? Yeah, awesome. Are we just in this mass hedonic treadmill of overconsumption, and our supply chains are destroying our environment and treating people unkindly? If that's what you care about, awesome. This is what we're doing, right? If you care about functional medicine and plant-based medicine and herbology and going back to nature and being really proactive about lifestyle medicine and about your health, and making sure that you don't have to wait till that hospital diagnosis before you disrupt that system and before you ditch the default and really change your life and own your life. Awesome. That's what we're doing, right? Your next homework is to apply with your Upline Diamond for a Healing Hands project. Find something that lights your soul on fire. Find a project that someone in your community is doing that you care about, and apply for a Healing Hands grant. Even if you only raise $2,000, doTERRA will match that $2,000. There's no minimum. If you raise $5, they'll match you $5. But they'll match up to $10,000, $15,000. One of my best friends on my team just maxed out his Healing Hands campaign, and doTERRA wrote him a check for $15,000 to put towards sex trafficking in Vietnam. It's no questions asked. It's not like a complicated process. It takes 5 minutes. So I want you to look into that if you haven't, and that is going to be your homework. I'm going to check on you. I want you to send screenshots of your project. I want you to share your project in the group so we can all support each other. And ultimately, I want you to remember that the status quo is status no for us, and we have this opportunity to ideate and iterate and get even better than this. And so I want you, pals, Jeno, I want you to lead with this. I don't want you to make this a side note, and I don't want you to forget that this is what it's really all about. This is why we're here. This is why doTERRA, Jeno, climate crisis, social justice, healthcare, financial freedom, abundance, all of this comes together in co-impact sourcing, in doTERRA, in this business model, in network marketing. And it's just such an incredible gift. So I don't want you to forget that. I don't want you to take it for granted. Thank you for listening to my soapbox, sponsored by Regan the Vegan. Own your life with me.